Hey everyone, welcome to Align Podcast. Here, our goal is to touch on real life experiences alongside biblical examples in an attempt to position ourselves in line with God's will for us. In other words, this is where we align ourselves with God. I'm Tunde Idoma, and on this episode, we'll be talking about the fear factor. Did you know that standing up to things that generally frighten you is the first step to overcoming your fears? Follow me as we journey along in this series and discovery. In the past two episodes, we've looked at the power you and I have when it comes to speaking up. We've talked about the importance of our voices and how desperately it is needed now. We've talked about being the difference that you wish to see in the world. We've talked about our audience, why and how we are perfectly positioned for them. See, I've done a bit of learning myself, coming to the realization that it is in fact selfish and it is not of God when I decide to deprive the people God has placed around me of the experiences and the truth that that has been experienced or that has been exposed in my life, especially of those things that I have been given. I hope that we understand that when I'm talking about speaking, I'm not merely talking of picking up a microphone and getting on stage. And although that's one thing that we can do, it's not the most practical. Not everyone in their lifetime will have the opportunity to pick up a mic and get on a stage. As a matter of fact, if everyone picks up a mic and get on a stage, who is going to be the audience? When I say speaking, I'm talking about our daily living. You and I are the perfect epistle for everyone around us. Our impact is much deeper as our actions are written in the hearts of our audience and the people around us. That's me paraphrasing Second Corinthians 3 from verse 2. So when I'm talking about speaking, I'm talking about our daily lives, how important it is. You see, some people will never pick up a Bible over the course of their lives, but one thing that they will definitely do is study and watch the people around them, and that includes you and I. So our daily living has the capacity to give life. It has the capacity to give hope. It has the capacity to offer confidence and purpose to people by offering the options either to walk the path of development, of growth and maturity, or leading to confusion, decline, and regret. When I talk of the concept of speaking, I'm talking of being truthfully loud and heard in our lifestyles. Being confident of the truth of who you are and the life that you are living, not the type of confidence that says, "Oh, they will like me." Last Nigerians will say, or some Nigerians will say, "By fire or by force." No, but it is the confidence that says that I'll be fine even if people don't like me. The truth is, it's not that straightforward, right? Between making the choices to either live loud, truthfully, or maintaining a preferred facade, there is a gulf of fear that if we don't properly harness that fear of those fears, it has the tendency to result into a life of regret. There's the fear of being wrong, there's the fear of being right, the fear of leading a person down the wrong path for the rest of their lives, the fear of watching a person live the wrong life the rest of their lives, the fear of being vulnerable, the fear of enjoying what you have, the fear of showing too much, the fear of not showing anything at all. All of these and more are fears that can lead to a life of regret. But we must never allow fear be the obstacle that blocks a truthful impact in our lives, especially when we have people that are looking onto us, especially when we have an audience that's trying and one way or the other attempting to imitate their lives or imitate our lives. Whether we care to admit it or not, our audience are always learning from us. Therefore, it is important for us to be truthfully intentional about everything that we do and all that we transmit. See, growing up, we had this big brother in our neighborhood, and I looked up to him. I admired the way he spoke, I admired his confidence, his demeanor, everything. Every once in a while, when we were on the soccer field, I always wanted to be on his team. I remember this very well, when he publicly gave his life to Christ, he made following Jesus look so cool. He introduced us to a genre of music that up until that point there were some of us that thought that listening to that type of music or being in a space where that type of music is played made you a sinner. See, I'm pretty sure that in that time, at that time when he gave his life to Christ, some females also gave their lives to Christ because the weekly fellowship increased tremendously in number. So what's crazy is that he had that type of influence on virtually everyone he came in contact with. Yet at no point did I ever hear him tell anyone to tailor their lives after his, at least definitely not me. His impact in the lives of the young people back then was so unrealistic, yet we saw it daily. The house was the center of activities. Every young person wanted to be there. Guys would gather around in the evening for soccer. Ladies will conveniently take a detour of their destinations just so they can be in close proximity with him. His was just one example, and I believe with all my heart that every one of us have people who we impact this way or one way or the other. With this mindset, it is important that we have to be intentional about the content that we are putting out, about who we are, about what we're doing, and about how we carry ourselves. As with any area of personal growth, fear is likely to be part of the equation. Fear is just one of the variables among many that attempt to limit. Owning your fear is the first step to facing it, and facing it to overcoming it. Bishop T.D. Jakes. So I've never been skydiving, right? But I would imagine that one of the things a person has to overcome before venturing into such an adventure is overcoming your fear of heights. From videos that I've seen online, I am always fascinated by the beauty of cloud formation, the complete 360-degree panoramic aerial view, but the beauty of seeing the earth curve on all ends, as it curves downward. And most importantly, I'm fascinated by how peaceful and how united the whole world seems from up there. All of these things, all of it, and even more, can be hindered and limited if a person decides to prioritize their fear of heights over experiencing this adventure. See, I'm not trying to advise anyone to venture into an unresearched and uninvestigated field, right? However, I'm trying to encourage you to prioritize the positives over your fears, prioritize your success over your fears, prioritize your growth over your fears, prioritize your influence and impact in the lives of other people over your fears. See, fear is just one variable that attempts to limit us. There are others, but fear is one of the big ones that attempts to limit us. Channel your fear, channel those fears, and make it into a part of your personal growth. And this is because there is a whole world, there's a whole generation of people that are waiting to be blessed by the positives in your life. Romans 8:19 puts it this way: it says, "The whole creation awaits breathlessly with anticipation for the revelation of God's sons and daughters." That's the Common English Bible version. That's you and I is talking about. There's a whole world waiting breathlessly with anticipation for your manifestation. Let your daily life, let it give hope, let it give confidence, let it give purpose. Be confident in that life that you have and live it confidently. With every person, this varies, right? So, whatever it means to you, whatever giving hope means, whatever giving confidence means, whatever giving or living it part with purpose means, do it and go the extra mile when you do it. For me, it means that I need to actively reach out to more people because this is something that I've not been doing. This is something that I know I'm still learning to do. Let me put it that way. In my I kind of, in a quote, keep myself visibly busy so that you can see and say that, wow, you're really busy. I need to stop that. I need to intentionally reach out to more people. I also have this fear of not having something to talk about when I reach out to someone. Well, not anymore. It is time for me personally to get creative because, again, going back to that initial point, that my life, your life, has to be lived daily with the intention, with the intention of giving hope, with the intention of giving confidence, with the intention of giving purpose to as many as are around me. It is time to for us to own that fear factor because that is the first step to overcoming our fears. It is time for us to step out of our norm. It is time for us to own the fear because yes, of course, fears are we have fears over one thing or the other. We have fears that are crippling us or that are trying to limit us in different ways. But it is time for us to own those fears because the moment we do that, it signals the first step to overcoming it. The truth of the matter is that we lose more than we save when we allow fear to dominate. When we allow fear to linger, when we allow it to stay longer than it should, we actually lose more. If you're not willing to face whatever fears and apprehensions that you have about life, we lose out. If we're not willing to stand up to the bullies in our lives, if we're not willing to stand up to all of those things that tend to limit us, we lose out. And not just us, but everyone around us also. They also lose out. Remember, there is a whole generation, there's a whole world that's eagerly waiting, that's breathlessly in anticipation to be blessed by the positives that you and I have in our lives. We meet for one of two reasons. You're either a blessing or a lesson. The only impossible journey is the one you never begin. The truth is, when it comes to succeeding and living an impactful life, there will always be people who oppose what you're doing. There will always be opposition. There will always be people who misinterpret your motives by your decision to influence and impact. These people who tend to justify their lack of activity, they become uncomfortable and angry because of your decisions. They will speak against the influence you're having. They will speak against you. They will speak against everything that you're about. They'll try to highlight your imperfections and make it seem like you are just living a fake life. These people are typically either scared to take the bold steps that you've taken or that you're taking, or they're aware that there are other people just like them waiting on the other side to show the world who they really are if they decide to live the kind of life that you're living. Don't allow their cowardice mixed with guilt and admiration of your bravery. Don't allow that interfere with your God given purpose. In reality, there are times when the best contribution you can offer to a person is to keep quiet and love them from a distance, right? But you must never allow fear to be the reason why you keep quiet. When you have a God given message to deliver, it may require you to risk stepping on a few toes, declining what others offer, disappointing them, and potentially hurting their feelings and losing their support. You must not allow fear of what others may think to stifle your voice or censor your message. That's Bishop T.D. Jakes. Be true to who you are. Start where you are. Start with those around you. Start with what you know. Start with what you have. Don't try to be someone else. Be who you are. Be who you are with what you have. And most importantly, just like my mother always says, be yourself. The first step to overcoming your fear is to number one, accept it. Fear never goes away. It doesn't matter how strong you feel. It doesn't matter if you can boss everyone around. It doesn't matter if you're the most impactful person on earth. You're still going to be afraid every once in a while. To a large degree, what you accomplish on earth, what you accomplish in life is largely dependent on how you deal with fear. So accept it. And number two, identify it. In order to leverage fear into courage, you have to be honest with yourself every time you feel it. If you don't admit to your fears to yourself, you cannot leverage it when you feel it. Look for those points in your life. Look for those areas where you feel afraid and see them as an opportunity to learn to deal with the fear. And number three, face it. There is a tendency to want to run from it, but running from it only makes it bigger, only makes it scarier, it only makes it more terrifying. So turn around, face it. Picture it as this mountain between you and your goal. Picture it as this mountain between you and your peace. When we do all these three and make it a habit, it makes facing our fears, it makes overcoming our fears become a skill to us so that we will become comfortable in overcoming our fears. Don't eliminate the fear factor from your life. Instead, make it a driving force. Let the fear factor become a motivational tool. Let it become a motivation to help you live an impactful life. Because remember, there is a whole generation eagerly waiting to be blessed by the positives in your life. Well, thanks so much for listening to our Line podcast. Be sure to take some time to listen to our other episodes and stay tuned for some exciting news as we have some resources in the works. You can access all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and simply by clicking the link in our show notes. Also, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe to Align Podcast. Join us next time as we continue to align ourselves with God. Thanks for listening. Bye.